Once you pick your jumper, it's time to join the Clippers and test your build in a game against the Milwaukee Bucks.
A well-dressed group of Timberwolves as they made their way to the locker room. They love playing in front of their raucous home crowd. And the game arrival, sponsored by Express. Dress like a pro. Traffic heading in and out of downtown Minneapolis, Minnesota. The setting for our broadcast tonight. It's live coverage of the NBA. Hey, Dave. Yeah, terrific attitude. It makes him very tough to handle. David, thank you. Here are the starters for Los Angeles. Green and LeBron at the 2 and the 3. Howard is out there with Anthony Davis, and it's George in at the 1. And for Minnesota, Covington at the 4 with Towns in at the 5. Then there's Walden. Then it's Chris Paul, and it's Okogie in at the 2-guard spot. Another year of record-breaking offense. Why is it, Chris, that great offense so often beats great defense?
Because defense is not about stopping you. It's about making you take the option that the defense wants. And so if we make a guy that doesn't shoot jumpers very well, if we stop all the penetration and make him shoot a jumper and he knocks it down, you just got to shake his hand. Sometimes it's great D, better offense. And we know this is a scoring league. And, you know, you can play the best defense in the world and have your hand up and, matter of fact, smack him in the face. But Curry, Harden, LeBron, they're still going to knock that shot down.
Smack him in the face, you say.
Oh, I've tried that. I've done that before, and it doesn't work with the great ones. No. Just tap them on the forehead while they're shooting a jump shot and look the other way. They'll still knock it down.
Howard, that's good.
You can't allow Howard to get this kind of position. He's confident in his ability to score inside.
And it's Paul with the ball for the Minnesota Timberwolves. 4-point game. They couldn't put the pieces together, losing that last matchup with Boston.
Yeah, they made some spectacular plays in it right to the very end. Just couldn't get over the hump.
Yeah, and sometimes it just comes down to a couple of critical plays which you need to execute in close, ugly games.
Covington trying to break free. Count the bucket coming off a perfectly placed assist. For the Lakers, they won their last contest, that game against the Wizards in Washington. George. That shot is off. Good D by Covington. For Minnesota, they've gone 2 of 3 here to start out the game. Walden with it, working on Howard. Good D by Howard. Los Angeles has gone 0 of 2 from deep here. Left side, George. From 15 feet away, and it's George again missing.
The shooting numbers just aren't there yet in the quarter.
That's tipped, stolen by George.
Well, the season still has some time to go, but right now, you have to think that Jay is the odds-on favorite to be Rookie of the Year. He's just done so much for this team all season.
Greg, I'd be hard-pressed to name another rookie that has come in and transformed their team the way that Jay has elevated this roster. Anything can happen. We know that with the awards. But right now, it's Jay's race to lose. Here's Okogie, guarded by Green. And there's the call on Howard. That's his first foul. Some changes for Minnesota. Noah Vonleh, he's checked in for Karl Anthony Towns. Bell comes in for Robert Covington. And it's Napier in for Paul. DeMarcus Cousins is checked in for the Lakers. Shot clock at 5. On the wing, A.W. Off target from outside. Lakers leading by 3. George with the bounce pass. And LeBron with the basket, the assist by George.
And James is used to scoring through contact. Doesn't matter what the D throws at him.
Here's Walden. Another miss by Minnesota.
He makes a lot more of those than he misses. Not sure what threw him off right there.
And George gets it to go.
Nice play, and you can see they're gathering momentum.
Yeah, and Greg, they've been a more cohesive team over this stretch, and that helps account for their lead.
Timeout called, first of the game for Minnesota. The Lakers beat them last time when these two teams met in Los Angeles.
And their last time against this club, they really fell short at the free throw line.
And Los Angeles with some changes. JaVale McGee's checked in for Davis. Kyle Kuzma comes in for LeBron. And it's Caldwell Pope in for Danny Green. Vonleh, the pass to Napier. He feeds it to Bell. That one's off, still out of sync.
It's not easy to keep him from converting those. I mean, the D has to be airtight.
And when you think of Jordan Bell, you think of do-it-all big man.
Specifically how strong he is on defense. Great timing for blocking shots, good hands, and can guard anybody out on the floor. Can finish plays as well when moving at the hoop.
And Cousins comes over to help. Pass to Okogie. Puts it up from 17. And it hung on the rim, but wouldn't fall for him. Lakers leading by 9. Kuzma kicks to George. 32 seconds left to play in the first quarter. And that one drops.
Excellent all-around performance so far, hence the big lead.
Yeah, Greg, they've come out of the gate strong at both ends of the floor, just in total control so far.
Napier off to a good start as he hits his first shot attempt.
And a nice job here early of establishing an inside presence.
Back to George. Rebounded by Bell.
He doesn't get the finish, but the D's got to be quicker to rotate and stop him from getting to the rim.
And Walden throws it down.
You can't give A.W. these type of looks. Given his skill set, he's capable of dropping the hammer.
And so it's the Los Angeles Lakers headed to the bench with a 7-point lead as we wrap up the quarter. They've been playing some ferocious defense. Back to the action after this word. The former number.
Every single day we're thinking about how can we be the
one step at a time, Greg. Big group substitution now for Minnesota. Towns, he's checked in for Gorgui Dieng. Noah Vonleh comes in for Bell. Robert Covington's checked in for Walden. And it's Paul in for Josh Okogie. Chris, this is a specialty of yours. Which current bigs are best at finishing contested shots right at the rim?
Oh, well, I'll tell you this, the best big in the league last year, averaging 17 points, scoring in the paint, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Yes.
I mean, he'll dunk on anybody, move out the way. He finishes. What about Embiid inside? What about Gobert? What about Boogie Cousins? Should I continue? I can keep going because the big man is back, baby.
So for the Lakers right now, LeBron and Davis, the incredible forward pair. Then there's Howard. Then it's Green, and it's George in at the point guard position. Covington kicks to Paul. Over George. Paul can't get it to go.
They know they can't give him that shot. The D's all over it, not even giving him an inch of space.
And that'll be 2 free throws coming up. Officials on the call with the foul. And reportedly, LeBron James spends over $1 million a year just on training and maintaining his body.
Well, money well spent. I mean, for his age, the most minutes played in NBA history, he's doing everything possible to extend his prime.
Free throw good, James. And Chris, later this season, LeBron James likely to surpass Kobe Bryant for 3rd on the all-time scoring list.
And that might be a bittersweet moment for Lakers fans, Kevin. I mean, a lot of diehard Kobe supporters who've long held that the Mamba, not LeBron, was the heir apparent to Jordan.
And it's Davis finishing it off.
Well, there you go. One team operating on all cylinders at both ends. Steals, fast break buckets, and the other team in scramble mode.
And the pass to Towns. Napier kicks to Paul. And George gets the whistle that time. That is his first foul of the game. And the Timberwolves making a change here. Walden's checked in. The 19-foot shot. And no good that time. And the Lakers going the other way now.
The edge on the glass is the difference. It's allowed them to build this lead. Pretty much all of their buckets coming from inside the paint now.
Outside, Covington. To the paint, here's Paul, and it's sent back by George. Oh, and the jam by LeBron.
Love watching James show off his muscle. No one getting in his way. The D can't stop him.
And this is his second trip to the line in the game. Okogie's checked in for Robert Covington. And then for Los Angeles, Cousins comes in for Dwight Howard. And Murray subbed in for Green. 36 seconds left now here in the second. They could use a big shot here to get this offense going.
Too many empty possessions. Right now, they need a basket.
And the Timberwolves call time here.
Well, it's been an express lane to the rim. Coach can't be happy about that.
4 rotations. I mean, slow help and just not enough toughness on the interior. They've got a lot to talk about.
Outside, Walden. Bounce pass from Paul. Shoots a fader. And that one's good. Towns.
And from day one, Towns has been one of the NBA's top post players. A versatile, well-rounded game on the low block. It doesn't hurt that he can step outside and knock down the jumper either.
Paul against George. Lets it go from deep. That one doesn't drop. And so it's Los Angeles in command. Well, we've got a second half of basketball for you. We think it's going to be pretty good. A big comeback, though, is needed for this game to be competitive, and it probably has to happen quickly. It's been one outstanding game from George.
Well, he left his mark on that first half with his quick hands. Great sense of timing to pile up the steals.
Yeah, he's busting his tail, making his presence known. A great job defensively so far.
Covington at the 4 with Towns in at the 5. Then it's Chris Paul. Then there's Walden. And it's Okogie in at the 2. That's the group starting the second half for Ryan Saunders. Timberwolves trail by 17. Passes it to Towns. Kicks it out to Paul. To the inside. And Covington with the basket on the assist by Paul.
I've seen Paul make about 1 million of those passes over his career. It never gets old.
And you gotta love the mindset of Robert Covington when he plays defense. So active with his hands and feet, rarely gets fooled on any up.
Rock solid start for him. I mean, they're 3 for 3 since coming out of the locker room.
And here's George. He'll bring it up for the Lakers. They led by as many as 18 points. The 15-footer, and it's good off the back of the rim and in. George has got 5 points now in the quarter. You know, it's easy to see why, Greg, Covington has been named to first-team all-defense in the past.
The team is noticeably different when his defensive presence is missing. I mean, rare to find a perimeter player who is as good as him, both on...
Oh, wow! Nice! You love how fierce James is, a ferocious dunk artist.
Here's Walden. One of the dependable scorers on the team. He's averaging close to 17 points a game. Fires at the elbow. It's hauled in by Los Angeles. And here we go. George heading to the hoop. And it's good. 2 points. George has got 20.
Great teamwork punctuated by a strong finish.
Perfect example of how to run the break the right way and get a great look.
And the Timberwolves call time here. Chris, are there specific types of plays where you feel the whistle gets blown maybe a little too often and a little too early?
Well, sometimes for a guard, when he's defending a guard and the pick and roll comes and he fights through that pick, and as a guard, offensive player, I can stop and let you bump into me and shoot the ball. I think the refs just have to be smart with it. Sometimes it's a foul, but every time it's not, just because of the situation or the flop. And also, you just don't want players to be bailed out when the defender is in a good position. But that's what makes the game so great, is the fact that as an offensive player, you got to try to manipulate and find out where you can sneak yourself in the gray areas of the rules. And as a defensive player, how can you use your skill, your will, and then your IQ not to get caught with your hand in the cookie jar?
And George with the stuff.
Taking matters into his own hands.
Yeah, we didn't expect to see that kind of finish.
No, but his teammates love that kind of energy, fellas. I mean, dunks like this demonstrate leadership.
go. Here's Walden. He's covered closely. McGee with the block.
Oh, this is McGee's role. He's out here to defend and to stifle shooters whenever he can.
Lakers leading by 17. Outside Bradley. Shoots. The shot by George, no good.
Oh, I thought that one was going to go down. The mid-range jumpers, oh, man, that's usually a bunny with the D playing soft like that.
That's a double whammy, guys.
That's right. A great defensive play, then the emphatic stuff.
Oh, yeah, bang, bang. An impressive sequence that has them fired up.
Pass to Napier. Outside, Walden. Kept alive. Here's Bell. Excellent D that time there from McGee.
And he did everything he could to make that shot as difficult as possible.
Excellent D, avoiding fouling and got in the perfect position to alter the shot.
Timberwolves trail by 21. And here's Napier. 8 points for him. Another shot. That shot off. Kuzma with the defensive effort. And George, here we go. And it's George finishing it off.
And their balanced effort at both ends has hushed this crowd.
No, because it's gone dead silent in this arena. What a fantastic performance here on the road.
Napier with it. He's against Kuzma. Bradley with the ball. He's gotten some minutes, but nothing on the board yet. Buries it down low.
And not quite as aggressive from outside as they were in the first half, sticking to the high percentage shots, playing smart with the lead.
Poke loose, and that's out of bounds. Minnesota will retain possession. Conley's checked in for the Timberwolves. DeMarcus Cousins is checked in for Los Angeles. 29 seconds left in the third. Now Walden. Down to 5 on the shot clock. They need this. Rebound by JaVale McGee. McGee's got 6 rebounds now in the game. The 3 from George. And again, it's the Lakers from deep.
Well-rounded effort, and they show no signs of letting up.
Yeah, and it hasn't just been the offensive output. They're putting in the work at the defensive end as well.
And so it's Los Angeles in complete command. Their lead at 28 points going into the break. A look at the field goal percentage numbers tells the story. Both teams making substitutions here. One negotiating concession the league wants from the Players Union. Prospect attendance, Chris, at the draft combine and team-wide access to player physicals.
Well, this is a tough one because I don't think that a team that is not interested in you should have your physical. And we all know that information is shared, and so it should be genuine in the teams that are truly interested. And so I understand agents holding back on that. Medical information is something very serious that just because you have an opportunity to be drafted, your information shouldn't be spread all across the world just because you're at a combine. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but basically you just want a level playing field for everyone. And if we have that, it'll be better for everyone.
So for the Lakers right now, Jared Dudley out there with Howard. Then there's Murray, and it's George in at the point.
Yeah, that's got them over the limit with a lot of time still left. They're going to have to tone it down, or they may end up giving up a lot of free throws here.
Chang, he's checked in for the Timberwolves. Allen Crabbe comes in for Robert Covington.
And for a player with his size, Towns has always been very comfortable at the free throw line. And that's a good thing because he finds himself there quite a bit.
The first one falls. Chris, what's your definition of most valuable player?
LeBron, Michael Jordan. Okay, let me. Okay, the best player in the league. That's my definition. Who makes players better? Who brings the fans into the game? There's only one type of player that's an MVP, and there's only about 6 guys any year that can be MVP. But if you're talking about guys that help you, let's say, are the best on a contract or getting the most bang for their buck, you got to look at guys like a Siakam. You know, he's just making over $2 million this season, still playing on that rookie contract. And those are the guys that are on their way up. So you can always find young talent playing for maybe less than what they should be getting at that time. But the most valuable player continues to be the top 6 players of the league, period.
Here's George. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass. George has got 8 points in the quarter.
And this offense is in a perfect rhythm, and you can see how they're finishing their plays.
Yeah, right now it feels like they can't miss, but we'll see how long they can make this last.
George double teamed. He kicks it to Dudley. Back to George. And Jarrett Culver gets the whistle that time. That is his first foul of the game. See, Webb, if we lower the draft age back to 18, the league will take a larger role developing high school players. Your thoughts?
Well, I think it could be a safety net. You know, so many kids are vulnerable at this time, and they don't have a system, and that's why everything's kind of been messed up for players trying to figure out what is the correct system. How do I really get immersed? I want to be in the NBA. What is the right way? And I think the younger you are, with the more direction that you have, it can only turn out to be a safer process, I would hope.
And getting better pro-level training, too, coaching.
Yeah, pro-level training, pro-level knowledge, pro-level relationships. I think it's a great thing by the league.
Yes, and with this one winding down, it's obvious to everyone who watched it, just a total mismatch and a true show of strength for Los Angeles.
As one-sided as it gets today, you know, there were some dominant moments in about every facet of this game for that team.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin, it's hard to think of what didn't go right for them. Game planning by the coaches, execution by the players, everything was just on target.
And what's been a tremendous year tonight, another example, and it'll push their amazing win total on the season to 68. An outstanding, outstanding season we've watched this team play.
And they've taken control of the season series. This brings them to 2-0 with 1 game left against this squad.
And, you know, when you look at the huge impact he had, just a monster game for George.
Well, he was the agitator, bothering everybody with his defense, coming up with steals. I mean, making sure they were never able to get comfortable as long as he was out on the floor.
And it's just competing, you know, giving your best when it matters most.
Well, this is what guys play for, and when it pans out like this, it's a great feeling.
Down low, Crabbe. Well-timed pass, and he goes straight to the bucket for the layup.
Crabbe is a polished scorer. I mean, he's skilled at converting close to the basket. You can't give him this kind of position.
Now, here is George. Not a lot of room. And the rejection by Jang. And a bit of a battle here for the ball. The official signals a jump ball here. So it's the Timberwolves now. And so it's the Lakers taking care of business here. This one was over well before the final buzzer. The fans were waiting for something to get excited about, Greg, but they never.
I mean, they just rolled this win. They made it look. What an efficient performance at both ends.
Courtside as we send you over to David Aldridge from the sideline. David, take it away.
Kevin, thanks. Well, best of both worlds for you tonight, Shea. Your team got the win, and you had that incredible third-quarter performance. What got you so hot coming out of the break?
Hey, you know what? Shouts out to Coach, man. He showed us some things on film that we can take advantage of. You know, we were just able to come out and make necessary adjustments. I mean...
All right, David, great job. Thanks so much.
Quarter, but something lit under you.
What's up, bro? Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate it, bro.
He was on fire. Like, it was like, you smell that layout?
What's up, bro? What's up, bro? You played good, man.
Beautiful layout. I don't know if you remember that.
Thank you. I do, man. I do.
Yeah, you was floating in there.
Yeah, I've been practicing, man.
Clearly.
Yeah.